How you doing, guys? Big Mac Dance School here again today, back once again with another update on the towel for you. I'm just going to zoom in a little if I can't wait too far. There we go, that'll do us. Another quick update on the towel for you, like I said. I've been working on a couple of characters this week. This is the Wargame exclusive Shadow Sun alternative, and this is the Ethereal on Hover Drone. I'll give him a quick spin for you. Oh yes, amazing turntable skills. Woo! There we go. A quick twirl for you there, and a quick spin for you of the Shadow Sun alternative miniature. It's a bit hard to know on the Shadow Sun alternative where to put certain colours, because obviously if I want it to look like the vior'la set stuff that's on the GW website, then I've got an easy guide for where to put certain colours on this guy and on a lot of other town miniatures. But this model, obviously, it's not an official model, so it's a little bit more difficult to know where to put certain colours. So I just tried to make it fit in, really, to give us certain markings in certain areas and stuff like that. This one needs a little bit more work on. I've caught black on her thigh there. I don't know if you can see that on her left thigh, just this side. I've caught it with a bit of black when I've been painting this gun. You can see there the guns. What I've tried to do with the gun is get close, not necessarily exactly the same, but close to the gun on the stealth suit, because it's the same. It's supposed to be, represent the same weapon. So rather than just paint the front like I have on this one, I just concentrated on the back and the power pod, if you call it that. So it ties in nicely enough. I've picked out a few areas with gold, circular areas on the guns, and then there's a symbol on the back, like a sept symbol on the back, so that's what I've done with that one to try and make it look the same. The blue skin on this one I did ages ago, and I couldn't remember exactly how I did it. So what I did on the Ethereal was a recess wash, or not a recess wash, an all-over wash rather, on the flesh of Drakenhof Nightshade, and then I realised it wasn't going blue enough, but I'm sure I did that with a couple of layers of Drakenhof Nightshade. What I did with this one though instead was, after the Drakenhof Nightshade wash, I added a Guilliman Blue Glaze, which may be what I did with that one, but I can't remember for sure. This one, it's a little bit bluer, a little bit lighter if anything, but maybe it's because with this one I did a zenithal highlight with white, whereas with this one I think I may have just done it with the light grey colour, which is like the Halford's Grey. It's like a light grey colour. So that's possibly the reason for the variation in skin tone. But I do like a bit of variation in skin tone, so you can see that, different models, the different people basically, like in the human race, there's massive variation in skin tone, even amongst Caucasian people. So there's massive variation in one race, then you can get that in the towel, I'd say, as well. So still not sure exactly how I'm going to do the bases, but I think I'm going probably with an urban look. There's been a few suggestions for snow bases. One thing I like with my bases is like a high contrast to the miniature. Because there's so much white on these miniatures, I want to avoid using white on the base, really. So I'll probably go with dark rubble, or possibly even like a sandy rubble. I'm not entirely sure yet, because there's plenty of opportunity to change the colours on this. It doesn't have to be grey, but yeah, to get a high contrast, make the miniature really pop off the base, I prefer different colours from those that are on the miniature. So there's some, a lot of people like the look of the miniature when it blends into the base, but I saw I think it was on my Facebook feed or Instagram maybe, I think it was a painting studio, I can't remember which one, but they shared the Sisters of Battle, that they were in the black and red Sister Battle armour. I don't know which type of sisters they are, but that might be Order of Our Martyred Lady, but I've got a feeling they're red. Anyway, it's the ones with the black armour, and the bases were all like really dark grey or black sort of as well, and they just looked like they were lost on the bases kind of thing. And that was a Celestine miniature and the two Gemini Superior. So I really, it kind of made that decision for me that I do want a high contrast on the base. So I'm going to steer clear of whites. Idic Beer 40k suggested blue rocks, but I don't know. Again, there's blue on the miniatures. Obviously, the blue's not going to be on all the miniatures, because a lot of the miniatures are completely covered head to toe, so you're not going to see the flesh. But if I want the character miniatures to pop away from the base, pop off the base, then I'm going to probably steer clear of the blue rock idea. I'm thinking maybe greys or browns at this stage, but there's time to change that. The basing's probably going to be the last thing I do. This is the only thing I painted all week, really. I'll just chuck the other miniatures in there so you can see how the force is coming along as a whole. There's a stealth team coming in. And you probably remember the Piranha, although he's just one of those drones has just detached and gone to deal with something on a different part of the battlefield, also known as my floor. So yeah, there's the miniature so far, the force so far. Let's tilt him down again so you can see see a bit of the contrast in the recessed washes. So that's what it looks like so far. Next up, still, like I said, a bit of tidying up to do on this one, and even on this one as well in certain areas. Like I've missed, I was supposed to go in there with, see on the golden orb, there's a little white patch. I was supposed to go in with the grey there. I'm pretty much copying the one on the website, like I said. So next up is the Pathfinder team. I'm going to do them in 2 sets of 5. I've been trying to get hold of the painting handles. I find them really useful for... I've not been trying that hard, let me just say that now. I find them really useful for these 2 miniatures. It's the first time I've used painting handles to paint miniatures. Really impressed with them, and I really like the way, because you're holding a painting handle constantly, it's just something extra to hold on to. You need to turn the miniature upside down or whatever. Let's zoom out there, shall we? So if you need to turn the miniature upside down, you're still holding on to that. You're not holding on to the base and like marking up the miniature if you've accidentally dipped your finger in some paint or something ridiculous. Yeah, so that's the force so far. Next up, Pathfinder team, and then I've got an expansion. I say an expansion. I bought something at Christmas. I did a little teaser picture on Instagram a while ago, so make sure you check that out. I think it's big_mech_danskull on Instagram, and it's under there, the thing that I've chosen to expand the force with. Like I said, this is like I've said in previous videos, this is like it's a paint what you've got, don't buy what you want challenge starting in 2018. So I'm not going to try not to buy any more miniatures this year until I decide I can't stand it anymore. The Custodes is a very tempting release for me. I might get the Codex, but I might just hold off because I feel like if I get the Codex and start reading up on the lore, that might encourage me to get the miniatures. So yeah, this is like I'm saying, this is like a paint what you've got, don't buy what you want challenge, similar to what Mike over at Crew Agila Silicis did. I'll put a link in the description below for his channel, and it's also a Finish Not Perfect challenge sort of thing, like Richard over at the Nerd Life, formerly Tattoo for You. I say that every time now, I think. I'll put a link in the description below for his channel too. So there's my update so far, rather than so far. The reason I've got the expansion, the other box under here of certain miniatures, is because I want to be able to play a 50 power level game with the Force, and it was below 50 power level, so I decided I wanted a couple of miniatures. And what's in this box, it worked out around about £10 more than the 2 miniatures I was going to buy, and it's got a lot more miniatures in. So we'll leave it there, guys. I'm sure some of you can guess what's in that box under there, but there may be a reveal coming in the coming weeks or months. So thanks very much for watching, guys, and I will see you on the battlefield.